Captain William Kidd, the infamous privateer-turned-pirate, is often remembered for his legendary exploits on the high seas, as well as for a treasure that has remained lost for centuries. Despite his trial and execution for piracy, the stories surrounding Kidd's hidden fortune continue to capture the imagination of adventurers, historians, and treasure hunters alike. The search for Captain Kidd's treasure is a tale steeped in myth, adventure, and mystery, an enduring piece of pirate lore that continues to this day. The elusive treasure of Captain Kidd is said to be worth millions, but its exact location remains unknown. Some believe it is buried on the shores of an island in the Caribbean, while others insist it lies hidden somewhere along the coast of North America. The tale of Kidd's fortune has inspired numerous expeditions, from early treasure hunters to modern-day explorers using advanced technology. Despite the countless theories and searches, the treasure has never been definitively found. This story examines the life of Captain Kidd, the rise of his legend, and the many quests that have sought to unearth his hidden wealth. The life of Captain William Kidd. William Kidd was born in 1645 in the bustling port city of Dundee, Scotland. As a young man, he sailed across the seas initially as an honest privateer, a type of licensed pirate who was given the legal right to attack and plunder enemy ships on behalf of the British Crown. Kidd's early career was marked by loyalty to his patrons, and he enjoyed relative success. However, as the tides of fortune shifted, Kidd's path would take a darker turn. During the 1690s, Kidd was commissioned by the British government to hunt down pirates in the Indian Ocean and to protect British interests there. He was given the Adventure Galley, a well-armed ship, and set sail with a crew. Kidd, however, soon found himself embroiled in disputes with his crew and the British government. The demands of piracy, the lure of treasure, and his personal ambition led him to abandon his original mission and begin plundering ships indiscriminately. Kidd's actions would eventually make him a wanted man, accused of betraying his commission and turning to piracy. The turning point came when Kidd and his crew captured a ship, the Quetta Merchant, which was an Armenian vessel with a valuable cargo, including gold and silver. This act of piracy, along with his aggressive tactics, led to his trial back in England, where he was charged with piracy and murder. Captain Kidd was eventually convicted, and despite his pleas of innocence, he was executed by hanging in 1701. Despite his downfall, the legend of Captain Kidd continued to grow, largely because of the stories surrounding his supposed treasure. Some believe that Kidd had hidden the vast fortune he had amassed during his time as a pirate, and the search for this treasure became one of the most enduring legends of piracy. The myth of Captain Kidd's treasure. The idea of Captain Kidd's treasure has captivated adventurers and historians alike. Various rumors and tales have claimed that Kidd buried his loot on different islands, with some suggesting he hid his fortune in the Caribbean, while others argue that it is somewhere along the eastern coast of North America. One of the most prominent locations linked to the treasure is Gardiner's Island, located off the coast of Long Island, New York. It was here that Kidd is said to have spent time during his brief return to the Americas after his piratical activities. According to some accounts, Kidd buried part of his treasure there, using the island as a hiding place before returning to England. However, no treasure has ever been found on Gardiner's Island, and the stories remain unsubstantiated. Another location tied to the treasure is Block Island, located off the coast of Rhode Island. In the early 19th century, treasure hunters found what they believed were signs of buried treasure on the island. However, like Gardiner's Island, no definitive treasure has ever been discovered. The island's rugged terrain and the shifting tides have made it an elusive and challenging place to search. There are also numerous rumors that Kidd's treasure might be hidden in the Caribbean, or along the coastlines of Central and South America. Given Kidd's extensive travels in the region, it is plausible that he may have hidden some of his spoils there, especially after his acts of piracy began to draw unwanted attention. Yet, despite repeated expeditions to these areas, the treasure has never been conclusively uncovered. The treasure hunt begins. The idea of finding Kidd's treasure became a popular pursuit in the 19th century, as the legend of Captain Kidd grew. Treasure hunters and adventurers from all over the world descended upon various islands and locations in search of the elusive fortune. However, these early searches were often rudimentary, relying on little more than hearsay, folklore, and rudimentary maps. The most significant early expedition took place in 1699, shortly after Kidd's trial. A group of men, including some of Kidd's former crew members, attempted to locate the treasure, but their search proved fruitless. Over the years, various theories emerged as to where the treasure might be located, fueling further expeditions. Some explorers used maps that supposedly belonged to Kidd himself, but these were often vague and unreliable, leading to more frustration than success. In the 20th century, the search for Kidd's treasure gained renewed interest. The emergence of more advanced technologies, such as metal detectors and sonar equipment, enabled treasure hunters to more effectively explore areas that had previously been out of reach. Additionally, archaeological excavations in some areas, such as Block Island, yielded intriguing discoveries that seemed to point toward the presence of a treasure. Yet, despite modern technology and a more scientific approach, Kidd's treasure remained elusive. The search for the lost treasure. The search for Captain Kidd's treasure has not only captured the imagination of private citizens, but has also drawn the attention of professional treasure hunters and even governments. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the US government took an interest in the search, sending expeditions to various islands to search for hidden riches. These expeditions were often met with disappointment, as the treasure remained hidden. In the mid-20th century, treasure hunters began using more sophisticated equipment, such as underwater metal detectors and sonar technology, to search for Kidd's treasure in areas that were previously difficult to access. These technological advancements have led to some tantalizing discoveries, including old coins, relics, and shipwrecks that are believed to be linked to Kidd's piracy. However, the ultimate prize, Kidd's legendary treasure, has not yet been found. The treasure hunt begins. The early search for Captain Kidd's treasure began almost immediately after his execution. During the 18th and 19th centuries, treasure hunters embarked on expeditions to locate Kidd's fortune. These early searches were often based on little more than rumors and vague stories, with treasure hunters relying on hearsay and crude maps to guide their efforts. One of the earliest organized treasure hunts took place in the early 1700s when a group of Kidd's former crew members attempted to find his hidden wealth. Their search, however, yielded no results, and it wasn't long before the idea of Kidd's treasure became a widely shared legend rather than a proven fact. The 19th century and beyond 19th century saw a resurgence of interest in Captain Kidd's treasure, spurred by the romanticization of piracy in literature and popular culture. Treasure hunters from across the world traveled to the various locations associated with Kidd's fortune, hoping to strike it rich. In the 1800s, treasure seekers began to explore locations like Gardiner's Island and Block Island in earnest. While some of these expeditions uncovered coins, artifacts, and relics that seemed to have a connection to Kidd's time as a pirate, no one ever found the treasure itself. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the myth of Captain Kidd's treasure continued to captivate the imagination of people worldwide, and the quest for riches endured throughout the centuries.